Winner Kevin Harvick in a new car, and Alex Bowman making his first Clash start. He won the pole at Phoenix. Joey Logano, the 500 winner 2 years ago, and Kurt Busch, who won the Clash in 2011. Kyle Larson's been top 5 in both of his Clash appearances, and Danica Patrick top 10 in 2015 in this race. Kyle Busch won it in 2012. Chase Elliott is a first-time Clasher. Matt Kenseth, the 2015 victor, and Daniel Suarez, first time ever in a Cup car. He replaces Carl Edwards, who stepped away from the sport in the offseason, and Chris Buescher makes his first Clash appearance, starting 17th.
Well, we dial up our pole sitter and last year's Clash winner. Hey, Denny Hamlin, this is Jeff Gordon up in the FS1 booth. You got me?
10-4, I got you.
Denny, what is it about your personality and driving style that's contributed to your success here at Daytona?
You know, I really didn't have a whole lot of success at this race early on in my career, even though we won it as a rookie. Might have been a little bit more luck than anything, but I think just over the last 4 or 5 years, you know, I got a great relationship with my spotter, Chris Lambert, and I just feel like we've gotten so much on the same page that I'm able to make those moves within a foot that you got to make to win the race.
Well, we're looking forward to watching you make some of those moves in the daytime. Junior's excited about the Clash being during the daytime. Have a great one. Good luck.
Thank you, and I know Junior wanted to bring back the Clash. He even brought back the daylight, too.
And we're all smiling because of it. All right, have a good one.
Well, isn't it ironic that the last time the Clash was postponed due to rain was 2006. Denny Hamlin won his first. Dale Jr. finished second. I guess the daytime is the right time for them.
All right, we're going to talk to Alex Bowman real quick and see what he thinks about his race. Alex Bowman, this is Dale Earnhardt Jr. Got your ears on, buddy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, man, you got to work with the 88 guys last year and developed a great relationship. Won the pole in Phoenix, and you guys are kind of, in a sense, celebrating that effort today. How does it feel to be back with these guys once more?
Yeah, well, I feel like you know how it is with these guys. It's a great group of people, and it means a lot for you guys to all give me this opportunity. So I got to thank you and everybody at Hendrick Motorsports for letting me do this. Hopefully we'll bring home a trophy here, but it's been a lot of fun working with these guys, and I'm glad to get to do it one more time.
All right, buddy, be aggressive. We'll be pulling for you up here. Good luck.
Thank you.
Alex Bowman in the 88. Well, let's get downstairs to our Fox NASCAR All-Star pit crew, beginning with Matt Yoakum.
Mike, Jimmy Johnson kicking off the year, looking a little bit more like Grizzly Adams with a little bit longer beard, but I've never seen him more energized and pumped up for the start of his season. In fact, he biked for 42 miles earlier today with a group of friends, got back about an hour ago. Jimmy told me that although the race is in the daytime, the track should be a lot more slick than it would have been last night, but don't expect it to be like last year's Daytona 500, where we saw several contenders, including 2 of his teammates, spin out off turn 4. He says, but this is going to be a great learning tool for next week, because remember, typically the Clash and the Duel are run at night. Jamie?
Well, it was a great week for Brad Keselowski. Last Saturday, he got married. Then on Friday, when they got to the track, his crew chief, Paul Wolf, drew the #1 starting spot for this race. Then Brad went out on track, and he was fastest in the first practice. Now today, they want to keep that momentum going. They have 2 goals in mind: win the Clash, and later on today, win the pole for the Daytona 500. 2 things they've never done. Chris?
Well, Team Penske just dominated the super speedways last year, winning 3 of the 4 races. Today, Joey Logano, he's going to be starting mid-pack, but right in front of him is Kevin Harvick in his new Ford. And Joey Logano is hoping that he and Kevin can maybe work together this year, try and get Ford up to victory lane in their first Clash win since 2004. Vince?
One of the biggest stories this season will be rookie Daniel Suarez. The 25-year-old from Mexico is the Xfinity Series champion, but today will be his first ever race in a Cup car. He said he slept like a baby last night, but before he climbed in the car, he admitted that he had some nerves about the unknowns that he'll face today. Larry McReynolds?
Vince, I can promise you the crew chiefs didn't sleep like a baby. They had planned on racing at night, and NASCAR impounded the cars. No adjustments. Now let's take a look at the weather for today's race. Going to be right there at 70 degrees. There's the track temp, 82 degrees. Less grip for these drivers. No wind really to speak of. Let's take a look at the race analysis. 75 laps in 2 segments. At the end of lap 25, just a caution. You can do whatever you want. 50 laps at the end of the end. Pit road speed, 55 miles per hour. Pay close attention to this fuel window, 44 to 48 laps. Mike, that could be important for that second segment.
Absolutely. 25 laps in segment 1, 50 laps in segment 2. How many green flag laps will they have to run on that fuel load?
Did I hear Chris Neville say that Kevin Harvick and Joey Logano are going to be working together? I'll believe that when I see it.
Okay. Pace car's in. We're about to get the first NASCAR green flag of Speed Week 2017. It's in the air. The clash is underway.
Guys, I ask a quick question. Any advantage one side or the other, inside or outside?
I think with the new tires, you're going to actually maybe see an advantage on the bottom for the first few laps as these guys are handling really good. The cars are real comfortable.
Which made it interesting that Denny Hamlin chose the outside instead of that inside lane.
Yeah, the 3 and the 48 are bumper to bumper here. That's going to get a great push coming to Denny Hamlin. He could take the lead down here on the back straightaway.
Sorry, my bad. I forgot Keselowski was the pole sitter for this race.
I don't know how this race is going to go just yet. We're a half a lap into it. But if you can pass that 2 car, you got a strong automobile, I tell you that.
Yeah, we got some great cars up front. Denny's really strong in the plate races. He's going to give Brad all he can handle. Looks like Brad's clear of the lead.
And when Keselowski gets that Ford out front, he is hard to pass.
This is where he's so good, Mike, and these guys know that he just works both. He'll go over and pick up the 11. Here comes the 1 McMurray. He'll go over and pick him up and give him a little pull. He goes back and forth, one side to the other.
You know, I saw where there's a little bit of breakup. We're already seeing 3 wide as Kevin Harvick goes to the inside. Martin Truex Jr. take himself up. Jimmy Johnson going a little bit wide here through 1 and 2. It looks like Truex is caught in the middle of this 3 wide.
What is it about the middle on new tires?
Well, I mean, I really like the opportunity to take advantage of that middle. You never want the momentum going backwards, though. You want the momentum going forward. And in that particular instance, it was actually Truex getting 3 wide and going backwards. Now he's stuck on the outside as we see Logano's up in the middle.
See, I always looked at the middle. Nobody's in the middle. I think I'll go up through there. Then I realized why nobody was in the middle.
Did you notice Kevin Harvick move up to pick up Joey Logano?
I mean, tell us, Junior, I mean, how important is it to work those mirrors?
Manufacturer to manufacturer. I mean, he's got some new teammates out there to work with today.
It would be interesting to know exactly how much you're looking in the mirror per lap. I bet it's somewhere above 70–80% that you're actually watching the mirror and understanding what's going on behind you, because that really affects what you're going to be able to do.
I think, Jeff, I know when you drove, you had mirrors everywhere. You had one down on the dash over on the right side. You had on the top. You had on the outside. You had a lot of mirrors.
Yeah, you know, I learned from Dale Jr. and his dad about how important the momentum and the push coming from behind was, and blocking that move or getting that momentum to get you a position. And as we saw right there, was that Kenseth that got it jumped sideways right? No, it's not Kenseth. Who's McMurray? McMurray got really loose there off of turn 4.
Yeah, these cars are going to start to show some signs of handling characteristics the further we get into this run. I was surprised at the run. The 1 car got down the front straightaway, but Brad, he's easily blocking those runs and carrying them momentum.
I've just seen this with Brad time and time again. Once he gets out front, and even Joey's really, Logano in that 22 is good at doing the same thing. They just seem to pull whichever line has the momentum. They get in that line and slow it down.
What a move by Denny Hamlin there to take the outside around McMurray and complete that pass.
But look at the bottom to what we talked about at the start of the race. Kevin Harvick and Joey Logano have worked together and gotten themselves right to the front.
Junior, are you surprised? I mean, this is a 25-lap run before the caution comes out that they're already 3 wide.
Well, I think these guys have been sitting at home for 2 months, looking at, thinking about the opportunity to get here and race, and they're just excited to be out there having some action.
Yeah, Jeff, I don't think you really have any choice. You know, you got a little short race here, 25 laps. You got everybody packed up. You just kind of go where there's an opening. So I don't really know if you have a choice of being 3 wide or even 4 wide, maybe.
Well, how important, Junior, do you think track position is at this stage in the race? I mean, I know you're always trying to get to the front, but how much risk are you willing to take to get it?
You got to start early. You're looking at these guys that are 3 wide. So anybody sort of behind that first row of 3 wide, they're boxed in. They're sort of running half throttle. They're getting all these runs, but there's nowhere to go with any of these runs. That's really, really frustrating.
Harvick looks to the inside, thought he might have a chance at Keselowski, but now it's Hamlin sweeping around the outside of him to second place.
But is he going to complete it? Didn't quite complete the pass. You could see where the 4 of Kevin Harvick just hung right there on his quarter panel, stall him out. Now, if the 78 of Truex goes with Hamlin, we'll definitely see this pass make it as the 3 wide group comes right up behind him.
But big kudos to those guys with the 4 car, Kevin Harvick and Rodney Childers. I mean, they're in a new this is a brand new deal for them, brand new car and everything else, and they're right up in the middle of it.
Now here's the battle I've been waiting for. Two of the best are right there, 1-2 between Keselowski and Denny Hamlin. They're both really aggressive on restrictor plate races. They love this format, and now we're going to see them duel it out.
I think that 78 car, he was struggling a little bit there for a few laps, but it looks like the pressure to come up. He's got comfortable. Remember, he didn't get a lot of practice, so he's running pretty good right now. Here comes that 4 car again.
Harvick surges to 3rd. Jamie.
There's been a lot of work this weekend with that Ford team. I talked to Rodney Childers, the crew chief. On Friday, he was absolutely overwhelmed. There were so many things they were trying to adjust to on 2 race cars. Yesterday, he told me once we hit the track, this is the best and the most prepared we've ever felt coming into Daytona. Look out, competition, right, Mike?
Absolutely. Brad Keselowski leads Denny Hamlin. Last year, the 2 of them led 65 of the 79 laps.
Here comes your guy, Junior. He's going right in the middle, coming up through there, looking pretty good.
Yeah, I told Alex the only way he's going to learn anything is get in there and make some moves, be aggressive. He's been working with his teammates since the start of this race.
Still in the middle.
He's stuck with Jimmy Johnson since the green flag dropped. That's going to be a tandem to keep an eye on if they can work their way toward the front.
What'd you tell him, Dale? If you get a run, you better take it.
I told him, I said, every run you get, you use it. Here we got a pass for the lead. Unbelievable. I really didn't think that anybody's going to be able to challenge Keselowski.
I didn't either.
Denny Hamlin for the lead. He's got help from McMurray. No, McMurray drops down. Now there's a gap, and Keselowski surges back.
I know you guys have talked a lot about Jamie McMurray and what a great restrictor plate racer is. Is it because he's so aggressive? Because he's pretty bold out there. He makes a lot of bold moves.
Certainly when he gets out front, I think he works those lanes probably more aggressively than anybody. But yeah, he's not afraid to take some big risks and make some big moves when he's back behind the field as well.
You know, guys, y'all were talking about track position. Even though that second segment is 50 laps, I talked to a couple of crew chiefs, especially Paul Wolf with Brad Keselowski. He said, I feel like I have to have my driver restart in the top 4 for that second segment to have a shot at this.
I agree.
11 cars within half a second.
Boy, a lot of movement right there in the middle of the pack.
Got Hamlin in 11 in a Toyota. Then you got these Fords here on the inside, the 2, the 4, and the 22. That's a pretty good bunch of cars to keep that Keselowski car moving forward.
This is a class inside draft, and if you get to watch here, Keselowski and Denny Hamlin, these 2 guys know more about plate racing than probably most of these guys in the field. They're really, really talented. They're going to be working that side draft. Denny is going to almost clear for the lead here.
Did he get
down?
He's
coming down. He's pinching him down. I think he's got it.
Yeah, I think what happened was McMurray got to the quarter pounder too, but yeah, he's chosen to give him that inside lane. I think he likes McMurray giving him that push in that outside lane.
That was one of those times when that spotter said, he's looking. That means don't move down, because then he could have caused a big wreck right there.
So Hamlin is the first driver not named Keselowski to lead a lap in this race. Brad's led 8, Denny 1. And they're side by side going into 3.
No great surprise to me that these 2 guys that started on the front row are the 2 guys that are kind of dominating the race right now.
I think the only surprise, DW, is that the 11 fell back and has had to work his way back up there. But he's shown he's got the power, he's got the muscle and the speed to get back up there.
And this Kevin Harvick in this 4 car, don't count him out. He's sitting in pretty good shape right now.
Here comes Johnson on the outside, trying to lead a group up to the front 3. Now look at the back of that lead draft down on the inside, the 19 rookie Daniel Suarez. Here's Vince.
Yeah, Suarez has been staying right on the tail of his 2 teammates just ahead of him, Kyle Busch and Matt Kenseth. You know, we've addressed the challenges for Suarez in his first Cup race. One of the key helpers is his spotter, Chris Osborne. Now, Osborne used to be Kenseth's spotter, but because he worked with Suarez in trucks and Xfinity, Joe Gibbs Racing moved Osborne over to work with Suarez here in Cup. Anything and everything to help Daniel Suarez make this a smooth transition.
11 laps complete this time by Ford in front, Keselowski, Hamlin by inches in second, Logano third.
Guys, I think we're at 12 laps here. the handling's going to start changing a little bit right along here.
I already saw a few cars moving around, the ones that are in the middle. You can tell there's just not enough air there, and the handling and the grip starting to go away, and those cars are moving around through the transition in and off the corners.
I know they look smooth, but those things are moving all over the place.
10th place Martin Truex brushed the wall last time by. Look at the 78.
Oh, that's just a little kiss. Yeah.
Yeah, what I thought was interesting is the 41 sort of followed him in there. He was already to the outside, and it just looked like it sucked him in as well.
I love the feedback Kurt Busch gives. He is so thorough. I mean, he breaks a corner down better than anybody, I think.
All right, that outside lane backing up just a little bit behind Jimmy Johnson. Kyle Larson goes up top.
Yeah, he tried to squeeze up in front of Jimmy Johnson. I don't think there was any room to do that.
Did they make contact? It looked like the 42 got a little loose.
It was touch and go there for a second. It's incredible racing. I was really surprised. This is no good for the guys, though, to have the two Penske cars leading this draft. Those guys are going to work together well. We've seen it in the past. Yep. It's going to be even harder for a guy like Denny Hamlin or anybody else to get up there and battle.
Yeah, look how Denny's now falling back. That's the last thing he wanted to see was Logano get up there behind Keselowski.
I believe the 11 cars lost a little bit of handle. I saw a couple of laps there ago where the car got a little bit loose. That's when he started falling back.
And then right next to him, Kyle Busch. Right in the middle now, Denny Hamlin has picked up Kyle. Chris Neville.
Well, last couple laps, watching Kyle Busch kind of surge to the inside there. He's dealing with a lot of the same issues that his brother Kurt Busch is dealing with. That car a little bit edgy, a little bit free in the corners. And talking with his crew chief, Adam Stevens, he said, there's at least 2 things on my list that I'd like to change with that car that we're running in the daytime now, but I can't. But still, adjustments coming up on this pit stop. He says it's going to get better, but I can't optimize it.
Kyle in 4th under challenge from Harvick on the outside in the 4.
I think with such drastic changes in the weather, these cars look pretty good right now. They all look pretty stable. They're all moving around a little more than they did in the beginning, but still pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. We're seeing just a little bit less 3 wide. I think the cars are starting to slip just a little bit. It's going to get into that 20, 25, 30 lap mark to where you're really going to have to start working on and thinking about things you need to work on your car.
So we're just past halfway in the first of 2 segments, 25 laps. Then 50 laps. The caution will wave after lap 25, but pitting will be optional at that point. So as this first segment winds down, there'll be several different strategies in play.
I would keep an eye on this little group right here. These 2 guys, 48 to 42. The 42 keeps cutting that 48 off. Don't think Jimmy's going to take much more of that.
Yeah, Jimmy got right on his bumper coming off of turn 4, loosened him up a little bit, and almost was able to get inside and make him 3 wide.
There's Mr. Consistency.
I was going to say, there's nice and quiet Matt Kenseth just riding along, easing his way to the front.
Guys, I know up here it looks like they're inches apart.
Big push coming from Kevin Harvick to the 11. See what he can do with that momentum.
But when they cut in front of each other, there's got to be more room there than an inch.
Look at that car just take off away from him after he gives him that push. Just not enough to get to the outside of the 22, though. It's one thing, Junior, to have the 2 car of Keselowski up there moving from lane to lane, but now he's got his teammate back there doing the exact same thing. It's going to be tough to get by these guys.
Absolutely. They're both equally as good at sort of understanding where to go, what line to be in front of, what line's got the run. You'll see they'll just hop right in front of the line that's got the run. That's a great combination between driver and spotter working together really well.
Exactly.
Let's not forget that the 2 drivers leading between them won the last 3 restrictor plate races of last year. Keselowski, Talladega in here in July. Logano, Talladega in October.
Yeah, they have figured something out. I talked to Brad occasionally, and always interesting to me, he talks about that bubble of air. If you're in the bubble.
Oh, trouble, turn 4.
Oh, no.
1 car hard in the wall, Kurt Busch.
Oh, no.
Kurt looked like he might have been turned. That thing just went straight on into the outside wall.
There goes Suarez down pit road. Not sure what happened there. We'll have to take a look at it. Wiped him out.
48 got into him. 48 got loose and clipped him in the right rear and just turned him into the wall.
Kurt was running 11th. And the window net is down. That's his signal that he is okay.
There's a 48 right back here to see where he does. There's a 41 on the bottom.
Oh, yeah, look at it step out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow, big time.
Straightened Jimmy out. He kept going, but unfortunately it was at the expense of the 41 of Kurt Busch.
Did you see that 48 car, though? He was going to spin out.
I think he was definitely going to spin out.
Nice job by Austin Dillon to miss Kurt Busch, who slides to a halt. Let's ride along with Jimmy Johnson.
Junior, I know you're his teammate.
Yeah.
You've seen him save some cars that you thought for sure were going to be spinning. I know he had a little bit of help.
Yeah,
with that
he had
41,
some help saving that one.
Yeah.
But still, he was driving it all the way through it.
He got by with a little help from a friend right there.
Riding with Kurt Busch.
Nothing he could do.
Wow.
Now let's look back from Alex Bowman's car.
Boom.
There you go. There's a wreck in your mirror there. 48 clipped the 41.
Yeah, Jimmy's just in this odd place, kind of in between, nosing in between the 42 and the 41, and pins the nose with error.
Here's what Jimmy had to say afterward.
Lost it off of 4 and clipped the 41. So it looked like the fender guys was pushed in on the tire. So let's get a hammer, get ready to beat that out to clearance the left front fender tire.
Junior, I got it. Oh, Matt, you got something?
And the crew guys are looking at that left front fender. You can see where it's broken right at the seam. There's also a hole punched through it. Jimmy had told me before climbing in that he didn't expect it to be like last year's 500 where cars would get tight and then wicked free on exit. And Dale, you remember that? You spun out. The 24 Chase Elliott spun out. Right now, though, Chad Canals, Ron Mallett, they're looking at the damage, surveying it, how to repair it here on the 48. But at least that is at least what they're only dealing with. Could have been much worse.
New rules in effect this year as to what you can repair on pit road from crash damage. That car will go to the garage and, according to the new NASCAR rules, is out of the race. Pit road will be open this time. Johnson, who has failed to finish the last 5 clashes due to crash damage, and pit road's open. Larry.
And guys, I think we'll see some stops here because we're going to go back racing with only 4 or 5 laps to go. Come get your 4 tires now and adjustments. You may only have to do fuel when we get that next caution.
Yeah, Larry, especially on a green racetrack after all that rain, I think there's a little more tire wear.
Everybody's in. Chris Neville.
Well, Joey Logano's team reminding him 3 different times we are in the middle of pit lane. The last couple years they've been down at the end of pit lane, so they're not wanting him to overshoot that box. He's pretty happy with his race car, saying it's pretty much neutral except in the draft, losing the front end a little bit. Jamie?
Brad Keselowski said he's free in and off of 2. Screaming loose is what a lot of these guys are saying, but Jamie McMurray in the only one not saying his car is loose.
Kyle Busch and Matt Kenseth came out of their pit boxes first. It's Kyle Busch leading the race off pit road. 2 tire changes, getting them up front. Well, this crash for Kurt Busch, a blow to Stewart Haas. They had to build a lot of new cars this year and used up one of them today. Under caution at Daytona with 19 laps complete. Welcome back to Daytona. Kurt Busch's car on the hook, headed for the garage, even if it was repairable under NASCAR's new rule for 2017. They will not be able to bring that car back on track once it's pulled to the garage. But now here is Brad Keselowski. We're going to show him exiting his pits and driving through too many pit boxes. He clips that fourth box. You're allowed three. 1, 2, 3, and the corner of 4.
Or I don't know why every time I think when those pit boxes are closed, they don't count. That's my fault.
Yeah, actually, it was the next pit box that was closed. So they actually have, and I don't know if this is new this year, but they actually have 4 that are open ahead of him. So he just barely clipped that 4th one, but it was not a closed box.
Yeah, he got the left side tires in there.
Well, let's go back to the crash involving Jimmie Johnson and Kurt Busch and watch Jimmie Johnson's car just eerily step aside. Right side of your screen.
And he's in a unique situation because of where the 42 is, the air coming off the 41. There was not a lot of air getting to that 48 car at that moment.
Well, let's go back to last year's Daytona 500 and show you something very similar. Watch the 88.
Boy, right in the same spot, Junior. I know that this is something you guys have talked a lot about over the offseason and through last year, because you weren't the only one that we saw. We saw this happen with the 24 as well. I mean, when you see this, you know, I guess what goes through your mind about what you guys can do to address this?
This is definitely something that me and Greg have talked about for many, many months. We had my spin in the 500. I also wrecked at Talladega the same way off of turn 2. Alex spun at Talladega.
24
the 24
here.
Off of turn 4 at Daytona 500 last year. So this is something that we think is, you know, it's something I'm very concerned about, and to see it again today adds to that anxiety a little bit.
Aero, mechanical,
I think it has a little bit to do with actually where Jimmy was. I think there actually was a lot of air on the nose of that car because he was in between. This is what I thought about my wreck off of turn 2 at Talladega. I was sort of in between 2 cars, following 2 cars and getting a bunch of dense air in between them onto the nose of my car. So I think it's also something they can do to improve on our cars as far as how they're balanced. We may need to work on that. We're going to draft a lot more over the next week to figure that out. We're going to draft a lot more over the next week to figure that out.
Okay, Alex Bowman too fast exiting his pit. Chase Elliott pitted overheating. And is there damage to the front end of Denny Hamlin's car? Jamie.
The answer is yes. Just prior to that caution, Denny clipped the number 1 and Jamie McMurray and got some left front damage. So they came down that first time, took 4 tires. Then he came back down and they threw some tape on it. They believe they're good.
He just wanted to get back there with Keselowski.
Pace car's in. Working lap 21. And
great
Kyle
lineup.
Busch takes off.
They're lined up great on the inside. All of them pushing really well. Kyle Busch is going to easily get the lead here.
Yeah, it's how far is Jamie McMurray going to go backwards, I think, is the real question.
Well, what happens is he will go backwards to a point, but then that outside line, it will start to bottle up a little bit, and those guys will get a run. Where that'll take them, who knows, but eventually they will get their run.
We see Denny already on the outside taking him 3 wide. He's not afraid.
Hey, this looks like the end of the Daytona 500 last year when he came from like 7th to the lead.
About 2 laps to the end of segment 1.
Looks like he might have got dumped. He got to have to get back in line.
Teammates at Joe Gibbs Racing. 2 Toyotas at the front. The Chevy of McMurray and the Ford of Logano trying to move up.
All right, Junior, you know you got the caution coming out, 1 more lap. What would be your game plan right here?
Well, these guys had an opportunity to get down pit road and change tires. That changed the strategy just a little bit. But I'm trying to get track position all day, every single lap. I mean, you got to be at the front of this. It's a 50-lap sprint to the finish. You got to be at the front leading that race with 50, 40 to go.
Yeah, I think this now takes out the scenario of cars diving on pit road like we anticipated if it had gone green all the way to that caution. But fuel mileage is definitely going to be very interesting now.
It's going to be incredibly tight trying to get to the finish of this race if these guys don't come back to pit road.
Coming to lap 24, everybody stays on track. 1 more lap to that competition yellow. Pit road does not close at this point.
I think if I'm about 5th, 6th, 7th on back, I'm going to come down pit road. I'm going to slam that thing full of fuel. I'm going to get me 4 tires while I'm there.
Guys, I don't think that the ones that pitted can make it on fuel. Right now, if you're near the back, if you come this lap, you can get there before pit road closes. If nothing else, top that thing off of fuel, maybe get the track position, because they're going to throw the caution once all the field goes by to complete lap 25.
These guys are all lined up single file here. That may be by some hand signals because these guys may be coming to pit road.
Yeah, well, you got to be careful doing this. You got to let people know what you're going to do. You get run over.
Here we go.
Here they come.
Guess who's coming?
3, 4, 5, 6 takers.
I think Kyle Busch definitely speeding on an entry of pit road here.
I think you're right. That looked fast.
Busch, Kenseth, Suarez, along with Truex and Hamlin. All the Toyotas pit, and Alex Bowman. Matt.
Truex is in. Remember, on the first stop, he took right side tires only. Looks like fuel only for the 78.
Still green on the back straightaway. Now, caution waves.
So let me ask you a question, Jeff. If the 18 is guilty of speeding on the pit road, now that we have the caution, what's the penalty? What's the situation for him?
Yeah, I think that it's just going to be tail into the longest line, right?
Which that's actually better.
It would have been a pass-through,
right? So
if it had stayed under
it's not
greens.
quite as critical.
No, not as critical. But this, to me, is why I don't understand these guys don't do more practice getting to pit road during practice time, because I know the conditions are different, a lot less grip right now. But boy, he locked up pretty early, maybe got on the splitter, and he just could not get it wound up.
Now, pit road is now closed and will be until the pace car picks up the field. It should open next time around. So one segment complete, one driver out of the race. Here's Matt.
Mike, Kurt Busch checked and released from the infield care center, and Jimmy Johnson took blame for that instance that the car just got away from him. Had you noticed the track starting to get a little more free?
No, I mean, it's a daytime and we're all set up for night, so you have to anticipate guys are going to have ill-handling cars. And I was on a low lane just minding my own business, and it's just a shame that we got tagged in the right rear. All the hard work, all the effort, Doug Yates and his guys are tuning on the engine, the guys are building all these cars, and we're wrecked, and we didn't even get to do a pit stop, didn't even get to change the handling of the car. We really didn't learn much today, but we did help the ambulance service do the new protocol, so everything worked out all right.
Mike?
Thanks, Matt.
That's typical Kurt.
But he threw in a nice plug for the new AMR emergency response service that NASCAR is going to use in all 3 national series at all of these events combined with the Cup Series. And the drivers now have a new protocol when they go to the infield care center. That includes a concussion protocol if the doctors there deem it advisable.
I applaud NASCAR for doing that, Mike. We've been wanting that for a long time, and I'm so happy that they finally came through with it.
It's a good step in the right direction. Basically, if you were in a crash and you couldn't get to the garage, drive the car back, the ambulance took you to the infield care center, got you checked out. Now, every driver involved in a crash, even if he can drive his car to the garage, has to go get checked out. That's a great move.
Pit road should open this time by. As we're under caution, these laps do count, but we've completed segment 1 with Joey Logano the leader, Jamie McMurray second, Kevin Harvick, Danica Patrick, Brad Keselowski the top 5, Larson, Elliott, Buescher, Dillon, and Johnson the top 10, and they all come to pit road. Matt.
And Mike, another wave of cars coming down pit road. Danica Patrick brings her Ford in for a stop, topping it off with fuel. She's waved to go.
Looks like fuel only up and down pit road. Chris?
Now we see Joey Logano just doing a quick stop there. Fuel only because they took 4 tires in the last stop, but they also made an adjustment on this one. Jamie.
Kevin Harvick came in, car is good, fuel only, as Jamie McMurray as well, fuel only.
And that sets the stage for the second and final segment of the Clash at Daytona on FS1.
right, fellas, get ready to rock and roll here. It'll be a lot of fun starting off the 2017 season with this race here today.
Beautiful day. Guys, let's get started right.
But race 1 of 40. Have a great day coming to the green. Looks like everybody's just starting to drive kind of bad right now.
I'm not impressed. I got left front damage. Damn it. We got loose, got into our quarter here. The 48 did. Boy, you all right, bud? Yeah, we're good.
Segment 1 of the Clash in the books. Pit stops made, getting ready for the second and final segment of this 75-lap event. Here's today's Ford Performance Track Facts. Last Ford win in the Clash, Dale Jarrett, 2004, one of 7 victories in this event. Current Ford drivers with 4 combined victories in the Clash. Now, before the caution wave, 6 cars came to pit road, led by Kyle Busch, who came in a little bit, okay, a lot fast, as he said.
I screwed it. We're going to be posted for speeding, so I'll be back for 4 and fuel.
On the other hand, as we go back to green, Brad Keselowski was a little surprised those 6 cars came down before the caution flag.
I'll admit I was a little surprised too, but it does make sense. This is what won the race for Denny Hamlin last year, a year ago. I mean, they came in at about that exact same time. Yes, it's a stretch on fuel, but boy, if we get some more cautions and if the handling goes away, I think that he's just sitting in a very, very good position again.
But the question for Larry McReynolds is, if we don't get another caution, are we okay on fuel?
I think so, and I think maybe what got him there was those caution laps that we just ran right there. So trust me, it's a special race. You're going to go for it.
Yeah, these 2 guys that are up here running first and second right now, the 11 and the 20, they were looking at a very special race at the end of the 500 last year, too.
How about fuel? It's a concern for Denny Hamlin.
Should be about even on fuel. You lead the whole stint. I'll be nervous. You got a couple cautions, I'll be fine. Do what you can when you can. Otherwise, be up front.
Yeah.
For Chief Mike Wheeler.
Yeah, stay up front, but don't use a lot of fuel. Okay.
Now, what about his teammate, Matt Kenseth, in the 20, Vince?
Well, the crew told Matt that he's a few laps short still on fuel. So if you take the 2 laps to caution, 1 lap to green, we're going to need a few more laps to caution, or the 20 is going to have to come before it's over.
Well, look up close to the front of the field. 2 of the 4 first-time Clash drivers sitting inside lines, second and third, Suarez and Bowman.
Yeah, Suarez and Bowman, they don't have a lot of experience. And what is that going to do for Denny Hamlin as he's trying to block these lines going back and forth? Is Suarez going to know exactly how to be the great teammate that all his other teammates have been at the Daytona 500 last year?
What is it you always say, DW, about these young drivers?
What you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah. Gibbs guys.
I know that 19 car from practice, what we saw, he's fast. I know that. He's got a pretty fast car.
The Gibbs guys have a real good program to work together. They used it really well in the Daytona 500 last year. But I'm not sure that Suarez has been in those meetings. Is he going to be able to, when he gets this run, it might give him the opportunity to take the lead. Will he take it?
But you know what I like? Junior, look at your man there, Bowman. I mean, he's right up there running in 3rd place, pushing that other rookie right along. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it is. I just, I see the outside line with more veterans. They look a little bit more organized, but it'll be interesting. These cars we saw, cars getting out of shape, cars wrecking, 18, 19 laps into the first segment. So that's a little quicker than I thought that the cars would start to handle poorly. So we're going to get down to 18, 19 laps into this run and have the same kind of issues. These guys are going to have, these rookies up front. How are they going to react when those cars aren't driving so well?
Well, right behind Bowman come Truex and Brad Keselowski, Matt.
Truex says the car a little tight on exit of turn 4. Says the steering feels a little bit wobbly once the pressure's coming up. They've gone with a cycle, rights and then left side tires. Right now, Cole Perrin says they're right on the border of fuel.
I think that's pretty much across the board. Everybody's right on the money.
I see somebody driving with a little extra aggression and motivation. That's Kyle Busch. He knew that he made that mistake coming to pit road, and now it's his job to make up for it.
Let me tell you what, I get behind that 2 car. I know that's where the 4 is of Kevin Harvick. Get behind that 2 car and push him up there because he's bad fast.
Wow, look at that middle lane just move with all that momentum.
Yep, Danica's number 10.
We're seeing a lot more. Yeah, we're seeing these guys get a lot more aggressive now. The chips are on the table. This is the sprint to the finish. These guys are all trying to get toward the front. It's so hard to get that lead. Once you get it, easy to maintain. But, 3 wide. These guys are 3 wide. There's nowhere for these guys to go.
And Junior, as you know, there's no more waiting till 2 or 3 laps to go. You got to go right now because you got to get in that position up front.
Every guy is trying to do the same thing. There's only enough racetrack for a few.
Let's get a nationwide performance report. Chris Neville.
Well, Alex Bowman pretty happy with that 88 car. He says about 10 laps into a run, the back end of that car starts to get a little bit nervous in the center of the corner. And that rain last night also affecting his schedule this week. Tomorrow, he's supposed to be in Las Vegas for a Goodyear tire test. Affected his travel plans, but Jimmy Johnson, his teammate, stepped up, said, hey, I'll give you a ride to Colorado tonight, and then you can take my plane to Vegas.
Wow.
Well, I give Greg Ives a lot of credit for coming, under that green flag pit stop, because that has given him a lot better track position, which is going to help the handling of that 88 car.
And Junior, you talk about your cars and how y'all have had some issues with them, but maybe some of the things that you've complained about, maybe they've worked on with the 88 car. He looks pretty good right now.
Well, I sure hope so. I got to drive that thing in a couple of days. But, it's just these guys, man, this is a heck of a battle. I can't believe what kind of race we're seeing from third on back.
Oh, baby.
This is incredible.
Woo. Let me tell you, Joey Logano on that 22 car, he don't mind using that bumper.
This is incredible racing. These guys up front, we got a 2-car breakaway for the lead, but these guys are racing. This is incredible.
A big push from the 22 on the 20.
Something's got to give. Something's got to give here soon.
Matt Kenseth, the 20, the man in the middle. Logano trying to help him forward and move that middle lane along.
See, Junior, this is what I was telling you about watching from up here.
Yeah.
When you're out there, you don't see all we see up here.
The guys that are in row 2, 3, 4, their cars are not driving very good. There's just no air, no downforce. They're sliding all over the place. We're going to see Kevin off of turn 4 do exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I heard him pedaling it there last time off of turn 4. You could hear him in and out of the throttle.
He's in the back of this mess. In no man's land, just about has the same issue that Jimmy had.
Yeah, it looked like his started a little bit earlier, and he was still in the banking and able to keep it going straight.
That's driving right there.
But, it looks like it's off turn 4. Everybody has trouble off turn 4.
Junior, we talk a lot about the wind affecting turn 4, so I'm wondering if actually the way the wind's blowing today, it's not making the cars a little freer over there, or maybe they're getting tight, putting more wheel into it and snapping the back around.
I think that's it, Jeff. I think they're turning, and then the back snaps.
Joe Gibbs Toyota's 1, 2, 3 trying to extend their record streak of Clash wins that stands at 3.
What's interesting, we got a little breakaway here at the top 3 of Hamlin, Suarez, and Kenseth. So those other guys are going to have to get organized to get up there and go make a run at them.
Oh, yeah, but those 3 there, that's an NFL right there.
What?
Not for long.
Oh.
The other great thing about it for those 3 guys up front is they're in clean air. They're not really having anybody pinching them on the inside or outside, so they're not really using their car up. Their balance is going to be a little bit better than some of these guys that are battling back in the back. These guys are in the middle. In the outside line, second, third row, they're wearing their cars out. Their cars are going to start to handle poorly quicker than these guys up front in this clean air.
And right in the middle of all that, the 2 Fords that were fastest in the first segment of this race, the 2 of Keselowski, the 22 of Logano, with nowhere to go. We are halfway, 38 of 75 laps complete in the Clash at Daytona. Welcome back to the Advance Auto Parts Clash at Daytona. Alex Bowman got a push from Joey Logano and got a run to the outside, took Logano with him. Logano dropped to the bottom and then made the pass to move up to third behind the 3 Gibbs Toyotas of Hamlin, Suarez, and Kenseth. McMurray now 5th, Truex 6th, Dillon, Larson, Bowman, Keselowski the top 10.
Junior, you told Alex, take that run when it comes, and he definitely did it. I mean, he's being aggressive, but unfortunately, Joey Logano had another idea.
Yeah, well, the biggest problem a rookie has is getting somebody to go with him.
That's true.
I mean, I don't care how good your car is or who you are. When you've got a yellow bumper, you kind of want to stay away from that guy.
That's why you get out there and practice, try to make a statement every time you're on the track in practice. Is go out there, show people what your car can do. Show them what you can do.
Yeah.
Kyle Busch moves up into the top 10. Remember, he was penalized for speeding coming into the pits. He has worked the draft to get to 10th, but it's a long way from there to the front of the field.
And we got a breakaway here. These guys are all working together really nice. We're getting into this particular part of the run where we saw some of the balance issues start to affect some of these guys. And I think that's why you're seeing this field kind of string out a little bit. Some of these guys are starting to see their cars are handling better than others.
I agree.
But now I would have to think, Junior, that these guys in the back are going to see that breakaway happening. They're going to get single file, and they're going to go up there, and try to catch this group. They won't stay double file for too long as those guys are running away from them, I wouldn't think.
Boy, Kyle Busch has speed. He just swept to the outside and got a run on Kyle Larson, got around him, but then the pack formed up and made it difficult again.
All these cars are good. Look, there's the guy right there that led most of the early going in the race. He can't pass anybody.
Matt.
Mike, Kyle Larson in the blue 42 on the inside says car not bad, just barely on the free side. Like Junior said, it's starting to lose the handle just slightly, but Chad Johnston told me they are good to go on fuel, no concerns.
31 laps to go. Jamie?
Brad Keselowski's mired back in 12th now. His spotter, Joey Meyer, just came on the radio. Great sense of humor. He said it's like driving on I-77 in Charlotte, North Carolina. You got a fast car, nowhere to go.
We just saw the 24 car off of turn 4 get really loose. Those guys in the back, those cars just aren't driving that great, Jeff. They don't have any aero. They've been back there the whole time fighting that aero, so they're really wearing their tires out.
They're fighting hard to get up there, but all that dirty air is really not helping any of those handling issues.
Here's Vince on Chase Elliott.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Chase, in fact, just came over the radio and said he'd been fighting tight, and they also feel like, though, the tires are starting to go away. So they're starting to feel it a lot hotter down here on pit road. Got to believe that track temperature's on the rise as well.
Boy, you see that run, though. It's like you got 100 more horsepower. You get that pull, man, you're going, then you hit the wall.
And for the first time today, the field is single file.
Yeah, they won't be single file for long. I got a feeling, though, these guys are going to get back to racing pretty hard when we get toward the end of this thing.
They just wanted to regroup. They got to get in line, get caught back up, and then they'll make a run.
Yeah, I mean, this ain't a points race. There's nothing on the line. You win, nothing else matters. So all these guys have got to start to think about what they need to be doing. We're going to see some moves already on the outside back for 5th place.
I was going to say, those top 4 or 5 guys are pretty content right now, but anybody further back is not.
I've seen you do this a little bit now. I've seen you fall back a little bit, maybe not too far, but a little bit, to see how long it took you to get back to the front. Anybody doing that right now?
I never fell back on purpose. I always tried to stay up front, lead the race. The guy who is in the best position, and this is obvious, but it's Denny Hamlin. He's got the most air on his car. He's got the best handling car because of that. So he's doing less work on his tires. These guys that are back here from 3rd on back are working their tires, getting tight, getting loose.
You know what he's really happy about, Junior? That rookie that's behind him. Pretty sure he would be very happy to push him to the victory.
I have to believe that Daniel would be happy to stay there, but I don't know if he'll stay there for the last lap.
I think he will.
Now, for today's race, Fox Sports Go is featuring car channel coverage for Jimmie Johnson and Kyle Larson. You can see the race, watch the in-car cameras, hear the team communication, and real-time driver stats at foxsportsgo.com or on the Fox Sports Go app on your favorite mobile device.
Just a Sunday drive out there, 195 miles per hour, inches away from one another.
Yeah, well, the fast lap was a 45.81 there a bit ago, and they're running the last time by 46.37, so they haven't slowed a lot.
Got the whole pack back together. We got an outside line that's trying to form. I got to have a confidence that that outside line is going to be better and better as we get deeper into this run.
But so far, Martin Truex has been leading that outside line, and he's not gained any ground. He's been door handle to door handle, if they had door handles. Kyle Busch right alongside.
So, Junior, if your handle's going away a little bit, tires are going away a little bit, is it easier to run up high?
Whoa,
no.
trouble! One car slides
Again.
to the inside. It's Johnson for the second time, and that
thing just snapped around.
will likely put him out of this race for the 6th straight year.
Oh, yeah, that's...
You got to think now that all the Hendrick teams are looking at this. This has got me nervous.
Sorry, guys. Sorry,
I know what you're going to be
the
working.
garage or not.
I know what you're going to be working on in practice.
Absolutely. We talked about this last year, and me and Greg, we didn't practice hardly any for the Daytona 500. Really, nobody does, but me and Greg are going to practice quite a bit. We talked about getting more track time to be able to try to fix this issue. He's on the bottom here, and he's going to get tight. We're deep into the run. He's probably got a lot of wheel in it.
It just steps out.
Yeah,
It's just all by itself.
And you know, when you've got your teammate outside of you, the last guy you want to get into is your teammate. So you could tell he was really trying to keep it off the 24 of Chase Elliott, and around it came.
But listen, guys, everything's happening off turn 4. Everything seems to happen off that turn for some reason.
And right in that transition as well.
Let's look at this from the Goodyear blimp. Down on the inside, second car from the back.
He's right back here. I mean, he's up on the straightaway almost when that car comes around.
But it's a lot like what Junior said. He was so far back in the pack, there's just very little air to put downforce on that car. And so any amount of wheel coming over that transition, the back just comes right around.
Right here. You're coming out of the corner onto the flat.
Hang on, baby. Look at
Another
you
thing
guys.
to think about too, Jeff, is that being on the inside, is he not only lacking a lot of side force that he actually depends on lap after lap, is being on the inside, dropping that side force in the car. They don't have much spoiler on the back of these cars.
Wow.
Come on. All right, we will have a caution here.
But
yeah,
unlike the first spin, he was not between two cars ahead of him. He was right in line with the car ahead in the
That
group.
car just comes around all by itself.
You could see him leave that yellow line, and as he leaves that yellow line, he's putting more wheel into it, and then there was just nothing in the back, right? That side force, that downforce in the back of the car just wasn't there.
And there's no way to save it. I mean, the thing, once it starts, it's gone.
Absolutely.
Second caution flag of the day, both for Jimmy Johnson. Welcome back to Daytona and the Clash. 24 laps to go. We're under what is officially the third caution of the day, counting the segment ending caution at lap 25. Both caused by Jimmie Johnson, first colliding with Kurt Busch and this time spinning in and impacting the inside wall. They've towed him to the garage. He's out of the race. With this caution, no worries about fuel, but let's see who wants tires if pit road opens. Takers from, Joey Logano pops out. Kyle Busch fakes it, but there are going to be, looks like 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 cars on pit road. Chris.
Yeah, Joey Logano knows he has a fast race car. His biggest frustration on that last run, he said the guys behind him just need to get organized. But Todd Gordon going to make a small adjustment here, put 4 tires on that car.
9 cars in, and it looks like all 4 tire changes. Chassis adjustment for Harvick in the right rear.
Quite a bit of adjustments on these cars right now.
And service complete. So let's bring you up to speed in the Clash. 17 cars took the green flag. Jimmie Johnson got loose, car came around, caught Kurt Busch and ended Busch's day. That was before the lap 25 segment ending caution. So that's our first yellow flag of the day. Moments ago, same spot. Jimmie Johnson turn 4, coming around and impacting the safer barrier on the inside of the track in the short chute leading to the tri-oval and the start finish line.
Hate that sound.
So we're inside, 25 laps to go. We're under caution. Now what?
Well, you know, last year the strategy that the 11 has right now won this race, but that was a night race, Junior. I mean, I think during the day we're starting to see handling be a much bigger issue. I think tires are going to play a much bigger factor this race today, the Clash, being because it's during the daytime.
Yeah, we saw a couple guys come down pit road and get 2 tires. We saw a lot of guys get 4 tires. Those guys have got to feel the most confidence in their cars and the grip level. We're seeing guys sliding around, so it just depends, like I say, on how much Denny was using his car, using the tires on his car and how his car handles out front. These guys have been good. The Toyota's been fast here at Daytona the last couple of years. So I think that, you know, Denny's in a good position. I wouldn't be feeling too worried about it. But those guys with tires, is this day race and the wear on the tires really going to come into an effect?
What I see is the more things change, the more they stay the same. Those Toyotas are at the front, just like they were last year. They're grouped up. There are four Toyotas in a top 5 right there, all Gibbs cars. They're going to work together. Hamlin's going to be out in front. I don't know what's going to happen behind him.
So which would you rather have, 4 tires or track position? Chris Myers.
All right, thanks. You didn't necessarily like that Suarez and Hamlin stayed out instead of pitting.
Well, we went 17 laps at the start of the race, and Jimmie Johnson got loose and crashed. 19 laps the second time when he did the same thing. What does that mean? There's going to be over 20 laps to go when we take this green flag. Even on fresh tires, your car is going to have a tendency to get loose. I like track position, but I'd rather have tires. I think that call could win the race. Only 6 guys stayed out. Watch those guys from 7th on back come charging.
How tough is this Clash? Jimmie Johnson, 7-time champ, 6th straight time that he's crashed out. He's with Matt Yoakum.
Chris, it certainly has been a challenging day for Jimmie Johnson. In Jimmy, shades of last year during Speed Weeks with your Hendrick teammates having similar issues, is this more of a Hendrick aero issue or just the track being slick?
I don't know. I haven't thought. I guess, you know, last year there were a couple issues there, and it's so bizarre because the car hasn't been loose anywhere else. And the first time I got loose, I got into the 41 and crashed him, and I feel terrible for that. And then that time I didn't think it was going to turn around me. I was out of the throttle, about half throttle, running along, and I'm not sure if the car behind me got close and helped my cause, but I'd been very loose off of turn 4 from the moment I crashed Kurt on. So maybe the track's changing. You know, we certainly plan to race at night, and it's weird because I've made a living out of a loose race car, and to have it bite me this afternoon and unfortunately take the 41 out, I'm disappointed in myself and our situation for that.
Thanks, Jimmy. Mike?
Pace cars in. The first 3 rows did not stop for fresh tires. From 7th on back, Austin Dillon, they have tires. Let's see how it plays out for the last 21 laps.
So we got better organization on the outside line. Will that help Suarez maybe get the lead here. Now we're starting to organize on the bottom. Kenseth's caught up to the 11. He's going to give him a good push to keep that side-by-side battle up front for the lead.
Yeah, we were wondering if Daniel Suarez's heart was beating fast before this race started. I wonder what it's like now.
I just can't believe those guys in 5th, 6th don't come down to get tires.
I think he's going to clear him here. Oh, no, Denny's got a run coming back.
Yeah. They got a great push on the inside there.
Yeah. Teammates.
Hamlin back to the front on the inside. Here comes Kenseth with him in that green and white number 20.
Now, Junior, do you think that Denny did anything there to back up to that 20 car behind him to try to get that run, or was that just the momentum that took him there?
I can't really know for sure, but I'd never back up to a car. I don't think Denny's the kind of guy that I don't see him doing that out on the track with me. I think you just get, they're getting runs to you, and that sort of accelerates your car. What if the 19 will get into the same?
Yes, he got in there right where he wants to be.
He dove in there.
And y'all talked about tires, track position. Give me the lead and a teammate pushing me, and I'll just take that all day.
The first drivers with fresh tires are the 3 and 22.
We got all Gibbs on the inside line here.
Yeah.
Now,
they work together so well. They just know what to do.
This does not bode well for anyone else.
Think about practice. They would work together, changing the lead car, letting somebody in while the other one moved into that opening spot. I mean, they've got this thing figured out.
Jamie.
So the 11 and Denny Hamlin last pitted at lap 26, and they thought about coming in on that last stop, and they said, nope, handling's good, let's go for it. I just asked Wheels, he said, we are good to lap 75, no more. So they are really hoping there's another caution. Vince?
First and foremost for Daniel Suarez today, run all 75 laps and learn everything you can. Well, he just went to school on that restart. The objective for JGR was for Suarez to squeeze down between his two teammates, Hamlin and Kenseth. But it took some patience. He waited, and when he finally got down there inside that gap, the team told him, great job. He learned something big there. We'll see if it pays off as they run these final 19 laps.
I've been so impressed with his awareness. When we watched him practice, he knew exactly when to make the move, and he's got experience beyond his years, and he makes moves like a veteran.
Why should we be surprised? Joe Gibbs has won the Super Bowl. He's been creating playbooks for decades. These are not 4 individual drivers in those 4 Toyotas. They are a team, and they're driving like one team, Mike, with 4 cars.
I just know that what I know about Toyota, this is what they impress upon their teams. Work together. Whether it's setup, aero, or on the racetrack, try to work together.
I know we're seeing Joey Logano a little bit further back right now, but he does have those fresher tires. He's making some aggressive moves. Him and the 42 back out together there a few laps back. But I think if anybody's going to make a run at this thing, I do believe that Joey Logano has the race car and the handling to do it.
Coach, you looks a little worried, concerned.
He shouldn't be too worried.
I wouldn't be. I don't know what he's worried about. But you know what else, Mike, and you guys, think about that 19 car. That kid has not driven a Cup car. Well, the reason I make this point is that tells you how good those cars are. They just put him in there. He goes right out there and runs like Carl Edwards did.
Yeah, Joey Logano in the 22, Kevin Harvick in the blue 4. They are the first drivers with 4 fresh tires. You see Truex in the 78, Austin Dillon in the 3. They went with just right side tires when they came to pit road.
That's a great observation. The right side tires are going to give a little bit of grip, but not as much as 4 tires, obviously.
The thing I'd say about tires is they're great if you can use them. But if you're bottled up back in the back there and you can't go anywhere,
the outside line is not working. Logano went up with those guys, went back to the bottom to move ahead.
Yeah, but this is one of the reasons, every time they start to get organized on the outside, somebody takes them 3 wide, and that just takes the momentum away from that outside line. As long as those guys stay single file on the inside, if those guys keep mixing it up, they'll never get enough momentum to actually get up there. We saw the same thing in the Daytona 500 last year with Denny Hamlin. He finally found a way to take that momentum and make it work. We got McMurray certainly trying hard.
Yeah, those 4 tires are not going to show up till 10 to go. And that's when the guy in the front's going to have, his car's going to be the worst, and the guy in the back's going to be better.
Kevin Harvick had a big run in the backstretch, but Jamie McMurray moved up right in front of him and took that run away.
Yeah, these guys got to organize better if they're going to try to do anything about that front breakaway.
Logano is trying, man. He's just, he is looking, but nowhere to go.
These Gibbs cars are going to stay organized, so you're going to have to get a lot of guys to team up. And these are all competitors back here we're looking at, and they're just not organizing to be able to get up there and make a fight of it.
Boy, there's a little
Logano making a move to the outside.
I'll tell you what, the Jamie McMurray and that 42 car of Kyle Larson and that 78 car, they have been pushing and banging on each other. Woo!
We know the one car doesn't have tires.
Trouble, turn 3.
Yep.
One car up in the wall.
I think it's Truex. So he made there was a late move there going into turn 3, and there was contact.
Like Buscher, did he get into that?
He was involved as the caution waves yet again.
They were just so bottled up right there, and they were, I mean, the one car and the 70, a whole bunch were just banging and pushing on each other pretty hard.
But as Harvick made that move, he got to the inside and started, getting the momentum of the other car going backwards. And it looked like Truex just tried to go in there and follow him.
Let's see what happens here, boys.
Now, this is from the Goodyear blimp. Martin Truex, the red car right in the middle.
Yep. Oh, right in the middle. That's where I thought. Too many red cars. So you see him. You see the one up here, McMurray. He's wobbling around. Here's the 4 of Harvick behind him. Harvick goes to the bottom.
Truex comes down
across the nose.
He just wasn't clear of the 42.
Yeah. But that's where the action was. I mean, there was some movement right there that was a little bit suspicious to me.
And he catches Buscher. Right edge of your screen.
Truex tries to follow Harvick through there, and it just wasn't quite enough room.
Just by a couple inches, but that's all it takes at that point in the corner.
Clipped that 37 as he went by.
Let's ride with Kyle Larson.
Half back.
Yeah, Truex has seen the one car holding everybody up as far as backing up through the field. He didn't want no part of that. He wanted to get down, follow that 4 car, and that's the risk you got to take.
And Larson, he was in a good position. He saw that 4 car come down, and he was going to get a big shove and gain some momentum from that track.
Wrecking, easy, low, stay up.
Looked like a little contact on the left side as well, the 42 of Kyle Larson.
Pit road is open. Harvick coming onto pit road along with Larson and Elliott. Jamie.
And on that last stop, Kevin Harvick made a lot of adjustments to this car. Track bar, air pressure, and 4 tires. Now this time he said, it is so fast out here. They wanted to bring it down and put 4 fresh tires on it and see what they can do.
Little nose damage for Kyle Larson as Martin Truex spun right off the front end of his car.
Yeah, I think he made maybe contact with a 37 car. Buscher.
Getting ready for the restart, which will come with 11 laps to go in the clash at Daytona. Denny Hamlin, Daniel Suarez, Matt Kenseth, Kyle Busch. Now, among the cars that stopped under this caution, Kevin Harvick.
I mean, you see how aggressive I can be when the car handles, you know what I mean? Oh, hell yeah. I'd rather come up short and not win in control than lose out of control, you know what I mean? Yep.
My reaction is just like his crew chief Rodney Childers. Oh, heck yeah. This is going to be fun. That guy, I think, goes to victory lane with those 4 fresh tires.
From 11th? Tall order, Michael.
He's going to do it.
Who do you like?
I like Logano. You know, he had 4 tires. So he still has pretty fresh, you know, not a lot of laps on him. So I know he's been aggressive.
I'll take Denny Hamlin, I think, with all his teammates. All his teammates up front, he's going to be hard to beat.
No, I'm on the Hamlin wagon myself. See what he's going to do here on this restart. He's going to start on the outside. He's going to drop down in front of Suarez. They're hooked right back up and going again.
I want to see if the glass slipper fits. Daniel Suarez.
Well, why not? It's a good pick.
Hey, we've seen rookies win this race before. Denny Hamlin's his first time in this race he won.
All I know is there are 4 Gibbs cars running 1, 2, 3, 4 right now.
Now, unfortunately, the odd man out here is Kyle Busch. That worked out well for the other Gibbs cars, but not so well for Kyle Busch. We'll see if he can't get a push from Logano here.
That could be big. Get Logano and Busch working together. That could work out for him.
Here they come.
With Alex Bowman.
Got a little run.
Logano will be an aggressive pusher here. If he can get to the back of that 18 car, he will push him to the front.
Just don't over push, because he's guilty of that.
Well, look at the momentum of 18 of Kyle Busch after he got that push from Logano. But I don't know if he's going to clear Austin Dillon here.
Do you see how he went down on him, O'Dell? He got down on him and then shot to the outside. He tried to get that side ref. Didn't get quite enough.
Vince.
Tell you what, Daniel Suarez is certainly a great teammate. On that restart, he asked about letting Hamlin get down in front of him, as we've seen is the norm with the teammates working inside and outside. And he said, well, what about Busch in the 18? And his spotter told him, don't worry about him. You know he'll make his way up there.
And he's doing it.
And he's doing it, too. He can get down right here, and he's back in line.
10 laps to go. Toyota's 1 through 4, then McMurray's Chevrolet, Austin Dillon, Logano, and Keselowski in Fords. Can they hook up?
Yeah, what we know about the 18 car Kyle Busch, he's not going to be happy sitting in 4th place. He fell in line, but as soon as he did, he shot right back, took a look to the outside.
You know, Keselowski and Logano might be able to do something together, but they haven't been in the same lane. They've been side by side, not nose to tail.
Yeah, I thought I saw about a lap ago there was an opportunity for him to get nose to tail, and then Keselowski seems to like that inside lane a little bit more.
Yeah, there's 3 Fords right here, the 2, the 4, and the 22. They could get hooked up and possibly do something.
Chris?
Well, this is exactly what Joey Logano was talking about during the caution. Earlier, he was frustrated because Jamie McMurray and Martin Truex Jr. weren't getting organized behind him. During this last caution, he was voicing his concerns because Brad Keselowski not working well with him. He said, if we're going to challenge these Toyotas, we have to start working together as teammates.
That's 100% right.
You know which car pushed Hamlin on that outside lane to win the Daytona 500 last year? Kevin Harvick. So right now, Logano's got a good pusher. It's just whether they can get organized and get that outside lane going.
If I could write a script and I'm Denny Hamlin, I just wrote it. I got the guy behind me I want behind me. I think Suarez is happy to push him to victory.
Yeah, I don't think he is. I think Suarez will go for the win, but does he know how to create the run?
That's the thing.
I don't know if he has the experience to create the run that Matt Kenseth or Kyle has, and we'll just have to see.
Martin Truex released from the care center, and Kyle Larson had to take his car to the garage under NASCAR's new crash damage policy. He's out of the race.
Remember, Suarez said before the race, he and his crew chief run all the laps. That's the biggest thing we want you to do today.
There goes Logano.
Not a lot of room, but there goes Logano. He made that hole between the wall and the 1.
You know, McMurray kept flirting with the inside lane, outside lane, and eventually he lost some momentum, and the 22 just got a big run on him.
Well, that's the only hope right now is for the 2 and the 4, 22 and the 4 to get up on that outside, maybe get the 2 in there with them and try to go to the outside.
Yeah. Well, and what we saw last year in the Daytona 500 is as that outside lane started forming and getting some momentum, some of those cars on the inside lane started peeking back out, and that's what killed the momentum of the inside lane and allowed that outside lane to happen. It's gonna get there before this race is over.
But just look at all the movement back in here you got. I mean, they're all over the place, can't go anywhere. You get get a little run. Somebody slows you down. You just can't get up there.
Single file at the front of the field. 6 laps to go. Matt.
Even though Martin Truex drove his car back to the garage, part of NASCAR's new medical policy, he had to come to the infield care center to get checked and released. So are you going to look at your mirror for your 500 car, working in that area, maybe improving?
Oh yeah, obviously it was giving me trouble all day long, and finally, just trying to get in a hole. I wasn't sure I was clear or not, and I couldn't see him in my mirror, so I just went for it. We're getting late in the race there, trying to get track position. So yeah, definitely need to work on it. But I guess that's the bad part about not drafting with your, in practice, is you don't really know exactly how your mirrors are and things. So we just messed that up a bit, and we'll get it fixed for next week.
Mike?
Coming to 5 laps to go. Can anybody break the Toyota stranglehold on the front 4?
Mike, the guy with the best average finish on restrictor plate tracks last year, the 3 car, running 5th.
Austin Dillon.
When he can take advantage of these Toyotas, Joe Gibbs Racing gets to the end. They're going to all try to win this race, and he might be able to take advantage of that as they break up.
We got Harvick clear of that 2 wide battle in the back, and he's going to get a run on the 22 here. If there's anyone I think that can break this up, it's got to be the 22, the 2, and the 4 working together.
I agree there. They got to get together.
We mentioned Austin Dillon, who is just ahead of those Fords. Vince?
Well, and they've been okay in the draft, still searching for that single car speed. We'll see if they've got enough speed to get up there and mix it up. But Crew Chief Slugger Labby, and there's the 3 on the outside looking for some help, not going to get it. But Slugger Labby said, get up there and break up that 4-car pack.
Keselowski opened up a hole on the bottom and moves those Fords ahead.
Yeah, he just kind of set the 3 car up and made him look to the high side and then dove under him.
Could have been the 3 car got tight coming off of turn 4.
I think he thought Keselowski was going to go with him. He gave him a little, started outside, and then he shot the gap.
Possibly.
Here goes the 2 with the 22 and the 4, like you
Now
talked
they're
about, Junior,
up.
going to the outside. This is going to break this whole 4 JGR team up.
See, the 18 car, he doesn't know what to do. Do I stay with my teammates, or do I try to get amongst these Fords and maybe get by everybody? He's kind of in that. He's not real sure what he wants to do here.
Well, we talked at the beginning. Is Harvick going to work with Logano? Well, look at this.
Yes, they are.
They're doing it.
Logano's going to clear here.
Wow.
As the 4-car side drafts the 18 backwards.
And I think will he clear him? No,
he probably.
Yeah, I think he will. He's going to get down in front of him.
Not going to do it.
Well, the 22 came up and gave him a little bit of help right there.
3 to go.
Big run coming from the 18, getting to the 22. We'll see if they can take advantage of that momentum.
We still have enough laps for Brad, the 22, to get up there, but what will the 18 do? Obviously, it's going to help these 2 guys win this race.
Yeah, Dale, I just don't see how anybody's going to break this front 2. As long as they stay together, it's going to be almost
going to get a run
impossible.
here. He's going to try it on the outside here.
There he goes.
But the 18 looks like he's going to go with the Penske cars.
Yep, Logano inside, outside, picks up his teammate.
Well, he wasn't going to win it from where he was. He had to make that move, and there goes the momentum.
We got a race here, guys.
The race is on, boys. The race is on.
A lap and a half to go. Keselowski's got a run on the leader.
Look at Kyle Busch going up the middle.
Kyle has a tire rub on the right front. He's got a little smoke off the right front.
He had a huge push from Austin Dillon.
Yeah. Kyle was not content. He was behind his teammates. He was not content. He wanted to do something. He wanted to make something happen, and he's trying.
Alex Bowman was coming with them, got stalled out 3 wide, back at 5th place. Keselowski looking upside downside. The white flag waves. 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank.
Now, can Logano get to the 2 car and give him a big enough push to get by Denny
Absolutely.
Hamlin? I think he's going to have a big run here.
There's a possibility. There's a possibility
here
right
it comes. Can he do anything
Better cut
with
him
it?
off.
Oh,
we got a crash. We've got cars out of control here.
No.
Logano,
They gather back up. Oh, no. The 11 car's out of control off of 2. Spinning out.
Got hit again.
No contact.
And here they come to the line.
Wow.
Man.
Denny Hamlin keeps going.
No caution. Still racing to the finish here.
Logano, it's Bowman with Kyle Busch for second.
It's going to be a drag race between these 2 for second.
Logano's Ford is going to win it, and Bowman, the showman, against Rowdy Busch for second. They bang, they touch. Busch second, Bowman third, Danica Patrick
She
fourth.
almost took a 3 wide at the line.
Where'd she come from?
Joey Logano wins his first clash.
That's pretty cool, right?
Those guys have been the class of the field for several years now. He's been a great little plate racer. No surprise. What an exciting finish there.
Woo, man.
You know, that was just great racing between the 11 and the 2. He had a big run, and to me, Denny just shut the door a little bit too late on him.
Yeah, he let him get too far up.
So let's show you first what happened in the back straightaway. Watch the 11, Denny Hamlin at the front.
Now going down in turn 1 here, and here comes the 2. He just cuts him, got that momentum going down the hill. A little late on the 11, closing the door.
And 11 just gets behind on the wheel here.
Yep.
No other hard contact after that. All those guys did a great job.
And great heads-up move by Logano, knowing to go wide and get by him on the outside.
Logano straightened it up, but then collected Austin Dillon.
Little contact between him and 3.
Around.
Yeah, he went around again.
But kept going. Let's ride with Kevin Harvick.
Still middle of 3. Back in front of you. Keep digging, clear up, get up, all the way up.
Whoa.
Middle now.
That's so close.
Keep digging.
That'll take your breath.
Keep digging, no yellow.
And Joey Logano, in his 9th start, wins his first clash. He becomes the 22nd different driver to win it in 39 years. 3rd clash win for car owner Roger Penske. And for the 10th time in this race's history, it's decided with a last lap pass.
Yeah, it's a great race. It's a great start, I think, to an old tradition with the clash. Going back to pole sitters,
Nice work, Joe.
bringing a little
fun.
exclusivity to the race.
Yeah.
Sort of an invitation-only event.
And of course, this time we had daytime and a warmer track and cars sliding around.
Makes for better racing.
It does. They need to run this thing during the day before qualifying every year.
Makes for better racing, I'm telling you.
Brad Keselowski there finished 6th behind Harvick as Joey Logano celebrates in Daytona, winner of the Advance Auto Parts Clash. 22 drivers have now won the Clash at Daytona. The newest one, Joey Logano. Last lap move as his teammate got together with leader Denny Hamlin. Logano capitalized, and there he is in victory lane. Jamie Little's there.
The beer spraying started off early. His wife, Brittany, walked into the car, gave him a kiss, and then opened a beer right in his face, and they were all laughing. Well, surprise, Joey, you're here in victory lane. Your teammate, Brad Keselowski, said thank you for pushing him, but you deserve this one. What does winning the Clash do for you, not only for next Sunday, but for later today when you're going for your first Daytona 500 pole?
You know, it's a momentum builder. That's what this is. It knocks the rust off everybody, and you go out there and try to have the best finish you can with the Shell Pennzoil Ford. And I knew the only way we were going to beat those Gibbs cars, they're so good at being a team, and the only way you can do is you got to break them up. And you got to be a better team than they are. And we showed that Ford was a better team today, able to break them up and get ourselves up front to try to make the big move there at the end. So, kind of was the right place at the right time. Brad was going to make the move, and I was just going to try to follow him through, but when I saw the 11 coming down, I immediately went to the top. The writing was right on the wall. It was going to happen, but what a great start for Team Penske to come down here to Daytona, get a great start, and get in one victory to start already at first start our speed week. So got to thank Shell and Pennzoil, Wheelsap, AutoZone, Auto Trader, Coca-Cola, everyone that helps us over the years. This is an awesome start. Roush Yates, I see Doug Yates up there. He has awesome motors, and can't wait to go qualifying later.
You and your teammate Brad Keselowski have been tough to beat on these plate tracks, but all of a sudden you have a new stable of Fords to work with. What was it like for you in this race knowing, hey, Kevin Harvick wants to work with us and we could be teammates?
It's a lot nicer, believe me. It's, Ford didn't have a whole bunch of cars out there on the racetrack before, and now, with Roush and with Stuart Haas, and all their cars are very fast. And Kevin and I have worked great in the past together when we weren't with the same manufacturer, and now that we're in the same manufacturer, we're really loyal, and you see that's why the three of us were able to break up those Toyotas at the end.
Great job. Joey Logano wins the Clash.
Logano came to the finish line all by himself. The same cannot be said for the drivers who battled for second. Watch this between Kyle Busch and Alex Bowman coming off turn 4 to the line.
Just a lot of side drafting back and forth.
Whoa, and a little contact.
Yeah.
Maybe just a teeny bit.
And you can see how that stalled him out. And then here came Danica Patrick. She went from 10th to 4th on that last lap.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I think 18 took him to school there. He took him to school and told him about it.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear from Alex Bowman with Vince Welch.
Alex Bowman with a terrific run, ends up third place. Kyle Busch and you banging doors, kind of coming to the finish line. He was a little upset afterwards about the fact you didn't work with him to get to the end. How did you see it there in the last couple of 100 yards?
Yeah, it's easy to hindsight's 20/20, right? It's hard to see. I was on the top when all this stuff happened, getting into one, and I didn't know the 22 was out there by himself. So he's probably right. We probably could have caught the 22 and had a shot to win it, but at the same time, he didn't work with me much all day either. A lot of guys hung us out every chance they got. So to come home third shows what a great race car Hendrick Motorsports brings to the track. Got to thank all the guys at Nationwide Insurance, Mountain Dew for letting me do this. Got to thank Dale Jr. It means a lot to have driven this car for Team Hendrick for I think 11 races now, or 12 races, whatever it was. And it's been a lot of fun, made a lot of memories, and hope to do it again someday.
Yeah, you did a great job. Alex Bowman third in the 88.
Well, an exciting battle for second place there, Kyle. When you got out of the car, you went back, you spoke with Alex Bowman there. You ended up shaking hands, but what were you guys discussing?
Just that when the 22 got so far out front, he was a lone duck, and I feel like if we both could have worked together, we could have chased him back down, and then the three of us could have had a shot to go for the win instead of just automatically giving it to the 22. So just trying to see what his mindset was on it all and figure out what got him to that decision. But overall, good day. Got to eliminate some mistakes here for myself on this M&M's team. We did a great job. The guys executed really well. Was able to have a really fast car, so I can't say enough about our guys at Joe Gibbs Racing and Toyota. Everybody's done a really good job of giving us some good stuff, and it's cool to be able to have that opportunity to race for a win like that. But just kind of snuck away from us there towards the end. But all in all, real pumped about the opportunity to qualify later. We'll see what we stack up and then go race them next week.
Thanks, Kyle.
Kyle rebounded from a speeding penalty to finish second. There is Doug Yates in the white shirt, head of Roush Yates Engines, that put the power to Joey Logano that got him to victory lane in the clash at Daytona. Lots more coming up.
Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Superior performing tires to face challenging conditions on the track and on the road. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. With Michael Waltrip, Chris Myers back here at the Hollywood Hotel trackside. The unofficial results, we started out with 17 cars, one of the smaller fields in the clash, and there were crashes to sort things out. Joey Logano with his first victory. By the way, this was the 10th time that this event has been settled by a last lap pass. 39 of these events, whether you want to call them clash, shootouts, unlimited. Well, Michael, how about it? It was a combination for Logano and Ford, and at the end there, it was 4 Toyotas, 3 Fords in the top 7, but teammates and tires did it for Joey Logano.
Yeah, Goodyear tires are awesome, and when you have new ones, it's even more awesome, and that's what we saw. Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano both pitted and got fresh tires. They were racing to the victory against the Gibbs teammates that were on older tires. It's going to be interesting to hear from the competitors and actually what the crew chiefs thinks about those decisions to get the fresh tires late in the race. Would they do it over? Would they do it differently if they had to do it over again?
And not a surprise, you talked about Logano as we set this up, and Ford's had the fastest qualifying in practice for the Daytona 500 qualifying.
Yeah,
that's coming up later on Fox.
And the Fords are going to be a favorite, I think, in the garage area for the pole when we go qualifying on Fox here in a little bit. Those cars are really fast. Joey Logano has been one of the best on the restrictor plate tracks lately. He and Keselowski both, and it was cool to see them work together and race against those Toyotas. Pretty even matchup between the Toyotas and the Fords.
And Denny Hamlin was trying to win his 4th of this event, which would have been 2nd most all time. He led the most laps, but you saw what happened at the end with Keselowski. He's standing by with our Matt Yoakum.
Denny Hamlin certainly showing that restrictor plate prowess that he showed so many times in this event, especially during speed weeks. But if you had a chance to do Groundhog Day and do the last few laps all over again, what could you have done differently?
There's really not much I could do differently to defend. Perhaps stay middle lane there through 1 and 2, and try to side draft. But he had help from the 22, so I don't think that I was in a bad spot there. I didn't have. He was there. I came down, but he was just coming so much faster than what I was. There's not much I could have done to defend. We're just lined up so well as Toyota teammates throughout the race that once those guys started breaking that up and leapfrogging, he had commitment from the 22 and the 4, and that kind of, when they were able to back up there, that really put us at a speed differential.
All right, thanks, Danny.
All right, thanks.
All right, Michael, how about his point of view and what you saw as the celebration for Team Penske and Joey Logano when the 22 goes on?
The checker flag's the next flag he's going to see. You know, he wants to get to victory lane. He obviously made the move just a little bit too late, and Brad got in the hole. In hindsight, Denny said I would have run the middle, tried to side draft him, and have a chance to get down to the other end of the track. But I think it's just one of those moves you're going to make in the heat of the moment to try to win.
If we saw this scenario for the Daytona 500 at the end, would it change, or you think they'd approach it the same?
It's the Daytona 500. I'm going to cut off. I'm going to block. I'm going to do anything I can to win, the same as you saw today. It didn't work out, but if it did, you go to victory lane and get to celebrate.
All right, Logano's teammate Brad Keselowski standing by with our Chris Neville.
Well, those last couple laps, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano got organized, made a run to the front, but then a little contact with Denny Hamlin. What happened there?
Yeah, you know, my teammate, we finally were able to get organized. It seemed like we were stuck in the back. You know, that whole strategy play at the break really cycled the Toyotas to the front and everybody else to the back. And it took us forever to dig out of the mud, Chris, and get towards the front. But finally, Joey and I were able to get together to where we could work with each other with, I don't know, about 10 to go. And once we were able to do that, it seemed like him and Harvick and all three of us Fords were able to make moves and get the SKF Ford Fusion in position to make a pass to get to the front, and we did. We were able to eye on top, you know, second, third, or fourth, third, second. Finally got Joey behind me coming to start finish line with 1 to go, and gave me a great push, and we had a killer run, and you know, I made the move on the 11, and I don't think he saw me. I don't know. That's probably better for him to say, but I got underneath him, and he came down, and contact happened, and we kind of both gave away the race, but you know, that's part of this deal. You know, you got to make the move. That's how you win these races. You can't be scared, and that's on both sides. But it's unfortunate. It cost both of us a shot at the win. But you know, we'll race on, and everybody knows I'm going to make that move again.
Thanks, Brad.
All right, it is he got married 8 days ago, Brad Keselowski, and teamwork with the Fords of Logano and Keselowski. This is with Alex Bowman in the 88, best Hendrick finisher, winding up third. And you see Danica Patrick here with Kyle Busch. She, you know, her first run in a Ford, she wound up fourth.
Yeah, how about these three manufacturers battling for the second spot, Toyota versus Chevy versus Ford? What a great move by Danica. She sees those guys mixing it up. She takes it to the outside, grabs that fourth place finish. Good, competitive, solid run. She ran the middle of the pack all race long and was able to take advantage of that at the end.
All right, let's hear from Danica. She's standing by with our Matt Yoakum.
An exciting clash for Danica Patrick. Grease on the windshield. Different times the car wouldn't suck up the way you wanted to. Try to make some passes, but boy, the final lap. Walk us through it.
Yeah, well, I will say that I get a little lucky, but there's a lot of that in this speedway racing, and there's been times where I haven't been lucky. So I guess I got to be like, got to live right. I get on the lucky side. But it was a nice way to start in the Taxac car today. So we dug deep. We've been through a lot in this off season, and what I'm most proud of though is that the team never let anything affect them, and whether it was everything from the change to Ford to everything else, it's kept their heads down and put fast cars out there on the track. These Fords seem pretty fast. Roush Yates does a good job, and I think that I like it. You were talking about sucking up. I was pretty good at a big run. I had a lot of momentum with those, but I struggled with the shorter distance. So, you know, those are things that on super speedways you work on. So we'll work on that. We'll make sure that my tighter distance is a little bit better. But thank goodness I had the good run, because I got dropped back in the very back for a little bit, and I'm like, this could be bad, guys. But once they started shuffling, the big run came, and as soon as I get that thing spooled up on the top, I felt fast. It's just a matter of being in the right place at the right time, and having the right help behind you too always helps. So it got harder and harder at the end with less cars out there, but we were in the right place at the right time. So
biggest positive you're taking out of today going into the 500?
I mean, we had a good finish. That's at the end of the day what you show up for. I mean, whether you get lucky or whether you led the whole thing.
I meant more learning as far as...
Oh, well, I'm here to have fun, and fun is doing well. So it was a good day result-wise. But biggest thing I took away was just working on, you know, knocking the dust off with just super speedway stuff. And it doesn't even almost feel like there was dust on. It felt like more like just trying new things, getting more aggressive and pushing the boundaries a little bit more, and, you know, encouraging everyone around me by hitting them that I'm here to play.
It was big fun today here in Daytona for Danica.
And Danica Patrick, the best Stewart-Haas racing finisher in the new Ford. More on Joey Logano's win. In fact, we'll show you the race, all 75 laps in less than 90 seconds coming up. Nice weather at Daytona Beach, Florida, and we needed it. Roughly about 14 hours after it was scheduled to run, the Clash from primetime under the lights at Daytona International Speedway in the afternoon. A little old school throwback with Michael Waltrip here. Jimmy Johnson hasn't had a good run here. Gets into Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch said, I was just riding along, minding my own business, and here comes the seven-time champ who said, hey, I didn't mean to do this. We got a little loose there.
Yeah, and that's going to happen. But, wow, Jimmy Johnson is a seven-time champion, Chris. That just tells you how hard this is. Also, you got to be mentally focused the whole race. Right here, Brad Keselowski drives through too many pits on his way exiting, mired him back in the dirt, as he said, in the pack.
You're allowed 3. He went 4, and then this is the second time. So Jimmy, for the 6th straight year in this event, crashes out.
And these cars are on the edge of control. You can see here, watch. Kyle Larson dives to the inside of Martin Truex Jr. Truex said, I thought I had that hole. It wasn't there. I'm going to have to work on my mirror so I can see all around me better.
And then Keselowski gets the run off turn 2 and into Hamlin here. Hamlin could have handled it differently. You heard him talk about it. So Logano opens the door for the fellow Ford of Keselowski in the 22 to head to victory.
That didn't have anything to do with a mirror. That was just a guy that wanted to win a race, and he said, I'm going to do whatever I got to win it.
All right, so last year, Denny Hamlin, he won this event as a springboard to win the Daytona 500. Joey Logano has won the Daytona 500 before his first victory here. But Fords and Toyotas, where were the Chevys in this one? Let's head back upstairs for some final thoughts from the guys who called it all for you. Mike?
Thanks, Chris. I think the most exciting part of this race for me was to learn that no amount of lead is safe. No matter what kind of game plan you have, somebody can gang up and get a run on you.
Well, we had a delay from yesterday, and boy, it was worth the wait. That was fantastic racing, and I agree with you, Mike, to know that there's no lead, that you can make a big run, and you can make a pass for that lead. We saw great racing throughout. We saw Hamlin become an issue. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun to see how this plays out the rest of the week. And, oh, by the way, I did pick Logano to win.
That's the 5th time you've done that.
Did what happened on the last lap surprise you, or was it kind of the type of racing you expected?
I thought it would be really difficult for anyone to get up there and break up the Gibbs guys. But we've seen the Penske cars run up front at the plate races over the last couple of years. If we're looking at who the favorites are for the Daytona 500 or Speed Weeks going forward, it's between the Gibbs cars and the Penske cars. Everyone else is going to be working hard to play some catch-up.
And that includes you?
Absolutely.
Well, glad to have you back with us and back behind the wheel at 88 this
week. Yes, sir.
Good
I enjoyed it. Thanks for having me on today.
Yes, sir. Great job. Glad you were up here with us.
Well, Darrell, it was a surprise ending, but it's the kind of racing we've come to expect from the class.
It didn't disappoint, and that's one thing about this race. It never disappoints. We don't know if it's going to be a last lap pass or a last lap crash, but we know something big is going to happen. But one thing I learned, and I don't think it's anything new, you got to have teammates. We saw that with the Gibbs cars. We saw that with the Penske cars. And that's what you guys, I think all the other guys got to work on. They got to figure out how to work together to be able to lead this race and win it.
Now, coming up later this afternoon, you'll see Daytona 500 pole position qualifying over on your local Fox affiliate. What can we look forward to? 196 miles an hour last year for the pole.
Yeah, we saw a lot of Fords up in the top, few positions for practice yesterday. I really don't know what anybody's got. It's hard to tell who's got what tape and how really truly mocked up they are for a qualifying run throughout practice yesterday. But we're going to go down there and give it our best. Everybody's shooting for those first two spots to take a little bit of the pressure off going forward through Speed Weeks.
All right. Well, good luck this afternoon.
Thank you. Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
Let's get a look at the strategy side of things and how this all played out from Larry McReynolds.
Well, Mike, I want to start in saying probably on a normal occasion, rain is our worst enemy. But in my book, it was our best friend. We got to see the clash on Sunday afternoon when this racetrack is really low on grip. But what I did, the crew chiefs, remember, they went into this with a lot of unknowns because they were preparing for a night race. But what I did learn, and also remember, the field is going to more than double a week from now for the Daytona 500. Yeah, track position's king, but Chris, I still want me 4 fresh tires if we've run anything north of 15 laps.
You're always a tire guy, Larry. We understand that. That's okay. I want to talk, too, about Kevin Harvick, because we're talking about Fords. It was great seeing him and Joey Logano working together with the Blue Oval team. But he took, and he gained 6 spots. He took a serious gamble, Michael, in this race that you might not see at the 500.
Yeah, he pitted with just 10 laps to go when we went back to green flag racing. Was that enough to get there? Ultimately, no. But he performed so well in the laps that led up to that on those fresh tires that he pitted and got before that. So I think it was a gamble that Rodney Childers was willing to take in the clash. Let's see what it'll do. We learned a lot. Today was a lot about not only winning a race, but also learning how to win the Daytona 500. Maybe just with 5 or 6 laps to go, it's too late to get those tires.
And the tires will be the story. Let's hear from Kevin Harvick. He's standing by with our Vince Welch.
Kevin Harvick finished 5th today. It's interesting just checking his heart rate on the watch that he was wearing. Max heart rate 168. Where would that have been during the course of this 75-lapper?
Probably right there in the middle of 1 and 2. But just really have to thank everybody at Stewart-Haas Racing. Our Busch Jimmy John's Ford was really, really fast. At the beginning, we had some handling issues that we knew we were going to have one way or the other, and wound up really loose in the first 25 laps. We're able to adjust on that, and then pitted going for it there at the end, hoping that tires would help us and helped us push the 22 and 2 and move everybody towards the front. And I just got, hung out when they had to get down and it wound up with nobody behind me. But all in all, the car is really, really fast, and the guys have just done a great job, and just really excited about the week.
Yeah, I was going to say, with what you learned today, where's that put your confidence level for next Sunday in the 500?
Well, the confidence is high just because of how fast our Ford is today. So, I think once we got the balance and know and I have an idea now of where the balance needs to be, we can get the handling right. But speed is not an issue.
Well done. Kevin Harvick, 5th place.
Well, Jamie McMurray brings it home 10th today. And one thing, in covering you today, I learned that you have a fast pit crew. They gained you 3 spots there on fuel only. What else was your takeaway from today?
Well, we had a good car. We were proud to have the Big Mac lineup on our car this weekend. Really cool paint scheme. And we ran better than we finished, I felt like. Plate races are interesting. You can struggle all day and then get a good finish, or vice versa. And I thought we ran better than where we finished. I don't know that I got in the wrong line, but the 22 and the 4 were incredible today on how they could push everybody. And then when they got tired of pushing you, they could pull out and just go by you. And they helped me a lot. And then at the very end, I got hung out and I got put in the middle. And there's not enough cars in this race when you get shuffled out to get lined back up fast enough. You literally kind of go to the back and start this whole process over again. And unfortunately, the timing didn't work out for me. But yeah, it was a good day for your pit crew. They did a really good job, and for the drivers to come to pit road, like you get to do all the things that you haven't done in, I guess, 90 days. So fun race. I kind of liked running in the day. I thought that was interesting, and now go do some qualifying.
Things are a little bit different. You just mentioned qualifying. You race and then go qualify. What do you need to do as a driver just to change up your mindset?
Well, my day has been pretty long. I woke up around 5 this morning, and I went to do Scott Lagacy's bike ride. So we rode 40-some miles this morning in the rain at early hours, and then got here just in time for this race, and now we're going to go do some qualifying. Qualifying here is so unique because the drivers really don't do anything other than get it in high gear. And I know that we say that every week, but it's ultimately about the engine shop and the guys that build the cars, and this is where they get to really shine at. So qualifying is not as exciting as it is maybe at a place like Bristol or Atlanta, somewhere where you're kind of on the edge. Here, it's all about the team.
We'll see you in a couple hours.
Thanks, huh?
See Jamie and his Chevy, but for Ford, this is the first Ford win in the Clash or this event since 2004. And when they finished, 4 of the top 5 cars were all Fords. We heard Kevin Harvick talking about the speed is there, and then he's figuring out the balance.
Yeah, and exactly what do you want when you come to Daytona? What wins the Daytona 500? Speed. And if I'm the other competitors, I'm nervous about Kevin Harvick. He knows how to win the 500. He's done it before, and he thinks he's got a car that's got a lot of speed in it. He gets the balance right, like we saw he and his crew chief Rodney Childers do throughout the course of the race today. He's going to be a big factor.
You talked about Ford having more potential with the Stewart-Haas shift over there, so just more hats in the ring there to give you a better chance to communicate and work together. I think we saw that in this case today.
Yeah, the communication will be key as we race forward to Vegas and Phoenix on down the road. Here, it's all about having teammates on the track, guys that you can count on to push you to the front. We saw how well the Gibbs cars worked together. They had the race in control. The Fords got together and broke that control up.
And Joey Logano, your winner of the 2017 Clash, the first guy to victory lane in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. Coming up, we'll have more. We'll look ahead to qualifying with Michael Waltrip here. You're watching FS1 Live. It's the Daytona Pick 5 Challenge. Go to foxsports.com and pick the top 5 finishers at this year's Daytona 500. So a week from today, you'll see it on Fox. It's your chance to win $50,000. Your chance to win at Daytona, no matter which driver you root for. The Pick 5 Challenge. And later today, just a few hours, qualifying for the front row. That's 3 Eastern over on Fox. Chase Elliott sat on the pole last year. Of course, Denny Hamlin won the closest ever at Daytona 500 last year. So we have the rest of the week, a lot of excitement. The dual races on Thursday here on FS1. And for you, you're going to change suits, get into your fire suit, your 30th and final Daytona 500. But you'll get out and try to qualify with all the guys in that car, the 15 Aaron's. So tell us about what you expect out there and how important the positioning is for you.
Well, I'll tell you, Chris, I'm going to be one of those guys after qualifying's over and say that will be saying it doesn't really matter where you start. You know, you can still win the Daytona 500 because we don't have single car speed in our number 15, but we'll get it in the pack on Thursday and see how we can draft and do the moves that we saw made here on TV today and work our way to the front from wherever we start.
You've won the Daytona 500 twice, so what's different about either the strategy, the approach, the cars, the situation this time around?
You know, you heard Dale Jr. say, I'm nervous about driving that car because, look, they're spinning around. I'm the same way. I've got to get out there and get a feel for what they're like in the draft. It ultimately will come down to having a fast car. That's crazy important here at Daytona. But if it doesn't handle, you can't use that speed. And that's what's important. Get it dialed in.
Right. So you'll be with us to start. You're going to race and then come back, sit back. And by the way, in Las Vegas already, Dale Earnhardt Jr. a slight favorite to win the Daytona 500 over Brad Keselowski. We can put Joey Logano in there as well. You'll be our pick. Don't worry. Joey Logano, the winner here. For Michael Waltrip, I'm Chris Myers, our entire gang. Stick around. College Hoops DePaul against Butler with Tim Brando and Dickie Simpkins coming up as we wrap up from Daytona.
The clash is underway. Oh, trouble, turn 4. Car slides to the inside. It's Johnson.
And once it starts, it's gone.
No! We got a crash. We've got cars out of control. Joey Logano wins his first clash.
That's pretty cool.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast.